Hello Stampers, I'm Kelly Acheson at stampingup.com coming to you from Menasha, Wisconsin in the United States. If you're watching this video, it is part of the Totally Techniques International Blog Hop. So make sure at the end you look under the video for a direct link to my blog where you can hop along and see what the other international Stampin' Up! Demonstrators made with the color blocking technique. That's what we're using today. So I chose Flirty Flamingo, Coastal Cabana, Pear Pizzazz, Sahara Sand, and Balmy Blue to make my card using the color block technique. Let's flip this camera around and I'll show you how I did it. The first thing I like to do is bring in my cardstock layers. I've got a Coastal Cabana card base, and this is 5.5 by 8.5. We're just going to fold that in half and burnish that edge good. Then I've got a piece of Whisper White that is 4 by 5 1/4. Another piece of Whisper White that is 3 3/4 by 5. A piece of Basic Black that is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And then you're going to need a black scrap and a white scrap. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you this color blocking technique. I don't think I have ever made a card using this technique before, so this was really fun for me. Now I'm using 1-inch strips of Flirty Flamingo, Sahara Sand, Coastal Cabana, Pear Pizzazz, and Balmy Blue. And these have to be 1 inch by around 4 inches. You can actually just pull out some scraps that you have that might be 1 inch and use those. I'm going to take my liquid glue and I'm going to open up this other end. Have you guys ever used this end of your liquid glue? I'm assuming that probably a lot of you have, but I never have. This was the first time I ever used it, was to make this card. And I'm just going to get that glue coming out. And the big end on here allows you to spread your glue around. And since we need glue on this entire layer, I thought I'm going to try that other end. I didn't even realize there was an other end on the glue for a very long time. What I can tell you is you want to make sure that your glue is around the outside edge and of course the inside too. So I'm going to take my 1-inch strip of Flirty Flamingo and get it as close, right, I should say not as close, but butt it up right against the bottom edge of my Whisper White layer. And then we're going to go with Sahara Sand, butt that up against the Flirty Flamingo, Coastal Cabana. Now sometimes I get a, whoops, this one went under. Sometimes I get a little bit of glue that I pick up with that edge of the cardstock. Just rub your finger over it. Don't fret over it, it'll be fine. Then we're gonna go with the Pear Pizzazz and the Balmy Blue. And if your cardstock is cut at exactly 1 inch for all 5 of these pieces, you should end up right at the top. And I see that mine has a little bit, it's a little bit over. And that's okay too. So the next thing you can do is you can put this in your paper cutter and you can cut off the sides that are sticking out, or you can simply take some large scissors and trim those sides off from the back. That always helps me. I use that white cardstock as a guide so I can get this nice and straight. And I'm a little crooked here at this end, so let me just a little sliver off. There we go. That looks great. Now, I thought this was pretty cool, but I thought, gosh, I think I'd like some type of a background on here, right? I don't know. I just felt like I needed something. And that's where I brought in the Playful Backgrounds stamp. Now, this is one of the stamp sets that I have loved using. It's just great for backgrounds, right? Obviously, it's called Playful Backgrounds. But this is retiring, so it'll only be available until the new catalog comes out. And I believe, let's see, is that June 3rd? I can never remember if it's June 3rd or June 4th, so I want to make sure I'm giving you the correct dates. So I'm going to bring in my Versamark ink here, And I'm going to grab my embossing buddy and run it over the entire layer. Then I have the polka dot images, this one right here from the playful backgrounds that I'm going to use. And I'm going to stamp right over my color blocked cardstock. And while I think that's really cute, why not emboss it? So I've got clear embossing powder here. I pour a couple containers of embossing powder into a dish like this so I can put a lid on it. I do that with the embossing powders that I use more often. So there you go, and we have clear powder. Okay, we're gonna heat set this. And so you don't have to listen to this loud heat gun. I'll be back in just a couple minutes. You can see how much darker the embossed circles are when you use the clear embossing powder. I just think this is a really neat look. Make sure that you tilt it in the light and that all of your images are glossy, because if they're not, that means you didn't heat them enough. And that looks great. What do you guys think? Isn't that kind of cool? I really like that. Okay, then what I decided to do, so I'm going to mount this on that piece of basic black. Okay, that really makes it pop, don't you think? Then the little scrap that I have here is for a balloon, and I chose to use the Birthday Banners stamp set. This is a really great stamp set. It's got banners in here that we have dies for, and it has balloons that match our balloon bouquet punch. Now this is retiring. The balloon punch is not retiring. So I've got Flirty Flamingo ink, and I'm just going to stamp a balloon. And then we're going to bring in the punch. This particular balloon is the smaller of the two. And then I've got my white baker's twine here. And I like to just tie a loose knot on the end, just like this. And then I take my balloon and I slip it right in there. Hold on to that tail while you tighten up the noose, the balloon noose. I love it. That's a first. I've never called it that before, but it makes sense. And then I've got a dimensional that I put over that tail so it holds it in place. We're going to trim this and then bring in your bone folder. Now hold on to the stem of your balloon and your baker's twine while you pull this through like you're curling ribbon. And look at how cute that leaves your balloon string. I love that. Add our balloon right to the front of our blocked panel. And then those other pieces, those other scraps that I told you you needed, were basic black and whisper white, and I took the Happy Birthday Thinlits and I die cut black and white because I wasn't sure which color I wanted to use. And then I came up with this idea, and it's not a new idea, it's been done many times before, but I thought it really made my card look cool. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to these outside pieces, a couple little dots on the inside. And again, you want to be very, very sparing with your glue. We don't want it gushing out from underneath our die cut image. Oops. Here we go. I'm going to bring my happy birthday right in here. And then I'm going to bring this one in, and we're going to leave that black one as a shadow underneath the white one. And I think you're going to really like this. So I'm going to offset it just a little bit. Just like that. What do you think? Isn't that cool? Yeah. Now let's finish our card. My card base is Coastal Cabana, and we're going to add this black layer to the front. And then I've got the inside layer. And I decided to bring in the birthday banner and stamp that right here. And then the Eat the Cake. Now I have a little tip for you. This stamp actually does fit on one of our G blocks. But what I found is the magnification was so close to the stamp that you get when you, through the beveled edges, there's a little bit of magnification there. I had a hard time placing it here. If you ever find that's the case, put your stamp on a bigger block and it's easier for you to see through the bigger block. And you'll have more success with that. So we've got Eat All the Cake, and it's your big day. And then I thought, why not use this cute candle and add a little embellishment down here in the corner. So this is Daffodil Delight for our flame. And I found the same thing with this. I put this on a smaller A block, and it fits on there fine, but it was hard for me to see placement to get it right on top of my candle. So then I took it and put it on a bigger block, and I have better success with that. So there's your really good tip of the day. Now we're going to add this to the inside. And complete our card. And here is our finished card. What do you guys think? I've got another one where I didn't put the white happy birthday on. Which do you like better? I don't know, this really pops, but I really love the shadow of the black behind the happy birthday here. Leave a comment and let me know which is your favorite, the black happy birthday or the white and black happy birthday. I'd love to know. If you would like to get your hands on any of these products, okay, all three of these are retiring. Or if you'd like to order anything else that I've used here and you're in the United States, you can head right over to my blog and you'll find an online ordering button in the right-hand column. Use the current host code. I always appreciate that. Make sure you click down here and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're not a subscriber yet. Wednesday, I am going to share a link that generates a gazillion different color combinations. I just ran across it. I knew about it many years ago, but I just ran across it again, and I'd like to share it with you. That'll be coming out on Tuesday, April 30th. I usually do a tip video every Wednesday, but this week I'm going to do it on Tuesday because I have another blog hop scheduled with the Stamping Society on Wednesday. So watch for that on Tuesday. Make sure you subscribe. You can click right up here if you'd like to place an order. I always appreciate your orders. And thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out of your day to spend it with me. Have yourselves a great weekend. Bye-bye.